I determined right from the beginning that I was going to say carefully what I believed to be true, because there wasn't a safer route than that.
Well, there's two points to draw out of there. First of all, because you have now been almost fire hosed into the world of celebrity, multimedia, and vast attention. I've dabbled in a lesser zone for a long while, so you adjust to the kind of swirl, okay? But what I've never forgotten, and I'm serious, is that people who are not in it at all, my father, or the mechanic down the road, or the doctor over here, doesn't have to be class. If you haven't had media, and if you haven't adjusted to it, and suddenly your name, and I'm just backing up your point, your name suddenly becomes the center of some great Twitter snowstorm in pejorative terms, and people are speaking of you with the most vulgar responses. It is a terror. It isn't to me, because I dismiss it, but people who have not experienced it, it is really, really, really something that it's an unbearable pain.
Yes.
And they bring it down with club force and the great megaphones of national networks in the States, etc. You can expunge a person's personality with this kind of brutality.
Yes, well, and it's permanent, right? Because the record never disappears.
And I put a personal question to you now. Because I know you had been on YouTube, you knew the media in that sense, but you weren't a media person. In your baptism, harsh as it was, how hard was it in the first couple of weeks for you to find balance and scale? You may be a clinical psychologist, and you are obviously mature.
Oh, I don't think I've ever found balance and scale.
Well, join my club.
I don't believe it. I mean, I'm here still.
I mean, in that great throbbing moment when all this stuff came in, and he hates this one, and your name is flashed all over the world. That was the first real magnitude of media attack on you.
Yeah.
So even for you, how was that period?
Well, it was dreadful. I mean, especially the first couple of months, because the attention was, well, it has been since then, but the attention was unbelievably intense. I mean, there were days upon days where there were reporters lined up coming into the house one after the other, and that really hasn't stopped. I mean, it stopped, let's say, in the last 2 months since the end of March, however long ago that is, because I've shut myself off because of I have some family health trouble that's very serious. But I don't think I've ever adjusted to it. What's made it bearable, I would say, and some of it's been very good,
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, it's taken my life, which was fairly broad. I had a fairly broad range of experiences, partly because I'm a clinical psychologist, and it's taken it from good and bad to great and unbearable. And I yo-yo between those states. What's helped is, well, the first thing is that I determined right from the beginning that I was going to say carefully what I believed to be true, because there wasn't a safer route than that.
It's interesting.
That in the final analysis, it wasn't certain that anything would protect me.
Better than doing the right thing.
Well, whether that would work or not was debatable, but there wasn't a better option.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And I believe that, I still believe that. And I think the success of what I've done is an indication of that. The success of my book, say, which is also absolutely overwhelming. I mean, it's impossible to...
Yeah.
Especially, I'm kind of old, I'm just about 60.
And you're white, and you're male.
Well, there's all of those things.
You are a bad man.
Yeah, well, the old part, I think, has to do with the ability to adapt.
I'm even older and whiter than men.
Yeah, well, but, it's fulfilled, and the lectures and the podcasts as well, and the YouTube videos, they've fulfilled a need, which also is something that's very difficult for me to reconcile myself to. I mean, every time I walk down the street, someone stops me. Someone stopped me on the way here.
Sure.
And as opposed to my treatment at the hand of a minority of journalists, which has been atrocious upon occasion, and academics as well, the treatment I receive from people in public is so positive that it's almost unbearable.